Now we are live. Oh my gosh. So I was here talking. Welcome everybody. This is Hannah Morgan. My guest today is Shelley Piedmont. Shelley, thank you so much for being here. Shelley is going to talk about one of the posts that she recently wrote on LinkedIn, which was changing the job seeker mindset from I can't, or I don't want to, or is not comfortable, to something else. So I want to thank everybody for being here. If you are here and you're watching, will you please just put a little comment in there so we know who you are and that you are here watching us. If you have a question, we'd love to answer your question. The theme of today is really the job seeker mindset when it comes to job seeking, because it's tough work. And a lot of us haven't had to go through this or haven't been in a prolonged job search before. So welcome to you, Shelley. While we're sort of waiting for people to come in, do you remember how we met? I clearly do.
I think I reached out to you, didn't
You
I?
did. But
Yes,
you know
I
why?
was networking.
You know why you reached out to me?
I was asking you about being a career coach.
I know, but even cooler than that, who do we both know?
We know Doug Johnston.
Yeah. So Doug, you called me this morning. I didn't answer the phone, but a shout out, shout out to Doug
Yay,
Johnston,
hi Doug.
which makes this such a small world, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Because
And
I'm in upstate New York, and you are where now?
I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had Doug as a trainer who came in and we were chatting and I realized that he knew you very well.
Yeah, it's very small world, right?
Mhm.
So I'm so glad that happenstance happened and that we had that chance to talk like it feels like forever ago. I think it was like a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about your background is that you started in HR, and there was something that happened that made you decide to get into this world of helping people with their career choices and resumes. What was that?
Well, I was very happy in my role. I was an HR director. I was doing a lot of cool things, and I really enjoyed my job. And then things change. And what happened in my case was my company got acquired, and everything changed. And I stopped loving my job. And so part of what I teach others, and I certainly needed to do myself, was what do I want to do that would bring me joy, that I would really enjoy doing, because it wasn't what I was doing then. And as I was thinking about my strengths, what I value, etc., it came clear to me that being a career coach would be the next step in my career. Having been in HR and recruiting, I had been on the other side of that recruitment desk, and I saw many job seekers who struggled, not because they weren't qualified, but they just didn't know how to conduct a job search appropriately. And because I had so much experience hiring, I knew that I could help those people. And that's what prompted me to go into this profession, which I enjoy immensely.
Yeah. I think that for anybody that comes out of HR or recruiting, your perspective is so helpful for job seekers because you've been on the other side of that desk, right? And you've seen some of the mistakes that candidates have made, and so that perspective is so valuable to job seekers. So I'm glad that you made that leap over to the other side, the other
Yes.
side of the desk to help job seekers. And it's been so fun to watch you sort of gain momentum in having your message reach a broader audience, which is awesome.
Well, thank you, Hannah. I appreciate that. It's
Yeah.
a joy for me to do this work.
Yeah, clearly. So we've got a group of people from we've got people from Queens, from Colorado, from St. Louis, Connecticut. So welcome to everybody who is joining us from around the country and around the globe. We've got somebody from Pakistan too. So woohoo.
Yeah.
I also can't don't want to forget that there are lots of people that need our help in today's world. And if there is anything that anybody can do to help one another, that really is sort of my whole thing. Sharing is caring. If I can do something, if I can share information that's going to make somebody's life easier, or shed create an aha moment, or just do a good deed, to me, that brings great joy. And I think we forget that sometimes when we're going through job search. We're so intent on getting what we want that we forget that no matter who we is, no matter what your position is, what unemployed or employed, you have a valuable perspective. You have stuff that other people are envious of. You have great talents, and you can give back in many ways. So don't forget that.
No, absolutely.
So your article, which I will share at the end of this, well, actually, if you aren't connected with Shelley, if you don't follow Shelley on LinkedIn, I highly recommend that you do. You don't want to miss what she is sharing, or is just talking. Shelley, do you do a weekly video almost?
Yeah, I usually do it once a week. Well, I'll do a video post. Otherwise, you might see text post or document post, but whatever I think is important to share, that's what I share in my posts.
Yeah. So it was one of Shelley's posts a couple of weeks ago that sort of resonated with me, and and it's here now. I know it's not hard, but if you look at through Shelley's activities, and you go back a couple of weeks, you will absolutely see this. It was a wonderful post because I think it's something that we can all relate to. Any parent can relate to. Can go ahead and sort of talk about the impetus for this post. Where did it originate? What's the focus of that?
Well, the focus was, as a parent, when I had smaller children, and even when they were teenagers, sometimes their default when asked about something was, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't go out for the play. I can't play sports, or whatever the I can't was. And what I tried to teach my children is, I can't is really not the right word to choose. Yeah. It is really more than I can't. So what you really want to think about is, instead of I can't do something, let's try. Let's try to do something, whatever that might be. And then when you change the words, then you also change your mindset about that activity. So you don't have the burden of having to be successful, because I think that is what I can't do something because I won't be successful. What you have is, I will try and see what happens.
Right.
And so I made that post because it reminded me of so many job seekers who use the terminology I can't when approaching their job search. I can't do a career change. I can't look for a new job. I can't network. I can't post on LinkedIn. The can'ts can go on and on and on.
Right.
And really, we should take that out of the vocabulary and instead say, I will try. I will try to do something. Now, when you say I try, it can be little, it could be a lot, but it is forward motion. And I think that is the most important part of that.
Absolutely. I think, I see this happen a lot. I know you have too, is that job seekers get into analysis paralysis, where they don't do anything. They're just afraid of making a mistake or not doing it right. And so they don't do anything. No one does this job search thing perfectly. There's no such definition, and it's different for everybody. So that's why I loved this, because if we can just try it, you might like it, right? In my household, we called it no thank you bites, right? Just take one bite. You may like it, but I'm not expecting you to like it. Just try it and see what happens, right? So it was a no thank you bite, but it's the same thing. Don't prejudge. Don't assume, because you know what happens when you assume that you're not going to be good at something, or that it doesn't work for you. You never know unless you try. And oh my gosh, what's the worst thing that can happen? It might work.
Yeah. So we tend to put the negativity to an activity, and we value that, or we weigh that more than the positives. So another thing is, if I tried something, what could happen, So I think if you think about what are all the positives that could possibly happen, that can also help you think, well, yes, I can do this, and the outcome could be awesome. So why am I waiting?
Yeah. It's so often is people, they think like I have a job search group that I'm running, and one of the questions this week was, well, it's I just sent my thank you note, but there was another follow-up question that I had. Sh- Can I email the people that I interviewed with to ask them this follow-up question? Like, yeah, try. You've got nothing to lose unless they said don't contact us. There's no reason why you can't do that. Um, so I think many times we get in our own head, like "Well, I don't think it's appropriate." Well, who said it wasn't appropriate? Did they tell you it wasn't appropriate? If you don't know, ask.
Right. Well, I think the I can't part sometimes is I don't want to make a mistake, right? That's what you're saying. And a job search is one of those activities where, yeah, sometimes with practice you'll do things better, but the best thing is to do something as opposed to nothing.
Yeah.
So, uh,
Always, always, always.
yeah. So in that case, what's the worst that happens if the person asks the question? I guess the worst is probably the person would ignore you.
Yeah.
Okay. And they just won't answer it. So if that's the case, then you're no worse than where you were before, in terms of the knowledge you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you still hear a lot of the clients that you work with and people that you speak with balking or feeling like they can't do LinkedIn?
I get a lot of questions about LinkedIn. And what I find for my clients is they just don't know what to do on LinkedIn. So their I can't is more I just don't know. And so one of the things I do is I try to demystify LinkedIn for them. Like, okay, so here are the options of things you can do. And here's what I would suggest you start with. I try, and then see how that goes. And then if you feel real comfortable with that, then you can try something else and then try something else. But I think because people it's very visible, sometimes I think people are a little bit afraid of it. But I find LinkedIn to be, at least the communities I've been in, people are generally very forgiving. And I've done things on there, I've made typos, I've misspoke on there. And it's one of the things, if you do something that, yeah, you wish you wouldn't done, own up to it. If you have to apologize, do that and move on. But for the most part, most people just need to get started. That's really the roadblock.
Yeah, just getting started, taking that first baby step. Part of this is finding your tribe, right? And it goes back to, I think Chris Brogan said that so many years ago. But when you find a group of people that you sort of gel with online, it makes it so much more fun. Like I used to, not so much anymore, but I still sometimes do. I look forward to logging into LinkedIn to see what my peeps, my friends are saying. Like I look forward to seeing your posts, and I look forward to seeing posts of other people. And so I sort of think of that as my tribe, the group of people that I look forward to learning from and then having a conversation with on LinkedIn. And I don't know if that's something job seekers really think about. Do they find a tribe?
I would agree with you, Hannah. I think that they don't think about finding those people to connect with that have the same interests. So once you do that, though, and it's very easy to use hashtags and the search function to find different people in different professions or industries, whatever it might be, then it becomes a lot of fun because you're interested in the topics these people talk about. that gives you an opportunity then to comment. I know a lot of people don't feel comfortable commenting, but if it's a topic that is of interest or that you have knowledge about, I think the commenting becomes a lot easier. You build those connections, people start reaching out to you, and then obviously another step might be then I decide to post because I've got things that I want to say, topics that are important to me. All that makes the experience a lot more fun on LinkedIn.
Right. And here's the thing I have to confess, and I think, aren't you an introvert? Are you an introvert?
Yeah, I would say I am. Yeah.
I'm a full-fledged introvert, right? So one of the things that I love about LinkedIn and all social media is that it's on my terms, right? So if I'm feeling particularly talkative, I will type up a storm. But if I'm not feeling talkative on a certain day and I just need to re-energize and I don't want to engage, I don't. So I think that one of the things that's so great for introverts about the social media and specifically LinkedIn is that this is on your terms, right? If you wake up gangbusters in the morning and you're just full of ideas, then comment away or post away. And if you don't feel like responding right away, wait a little bit. You know, you don't have to be 24/7. You don't have to be on when everybody else is on.
No, I would agree. I think do the things that you enjoy, right? Uh, you get engaged in. Now, going back to our conversation, I would say, try some different things. I think exploring different options, and you never know, there might be something that you didn't know about, didn't try, but when you did, and you put yourself out there, you might find that works for you. But
Yeah.
again, you also might say, nah, I tried it. It's not really for me. That's okay.
There are other ways to work this. Yeah,
Correct.
absolutely.
Correct.
So Alex Freund is a friend and part of my people that I enjoy interacting with. He's got a question for you, Shelley. As a
Mhm.
career coach, do you specialize in any certain aspects such as resume and LinkedIn, finding your next career? What's your sweet spot?
Oh, my sweet spots. I do all of that. But the sweet spots that I have are in helping people with career clarity. The people that are stuck, maybe they've been doing their career for a while, no longer enjoy it, and want to do something else, but they're not quite sure. So I love the exploration of options to see what is the right fit for those people. So that's one thing. And the other thing that I also do that I really enjoy, probably my favorite, is interview prep. And the reason is most people don't think of that as a service, but I think it's really important. Now, I, as a recruiter, interviewed thousands of people. So I have a lot of experience being on the other side of the desk, as I said. But the one thing about interviewing, excuse me, is you often don't get any feedback. And that's hard. How do you do better when no one gives you any feedback on how you're doing? So that's why I think interview prep is really helpful because I can be honest. I'm nice, but I'm honest, and that can help people improve how they perform in the interviews.
So a lot of times I say this, like, if you had toilet paper on your shoe and you walked out of the bathroom, wouldn't you want somebody to tell you you had toilet paper on your shoe? Like that's as embarrassing as that is, right? And as hard as it is for somebody to give you that feedback that you've got toilet paper on your shoe, you have to tell somebody, and that is what you do, right?
Right.
Shelley, in a nice, compassionate way, tells you you've got toilet paper on your shoe, so
Yeah.
that you don't walk out there into the next interview with the equivalent,
Hmm.
right? Um, why do you think that shifting somebody's thinking to I try helps them um, shift their thinking differently? Like, and why do you think that is?
Well, I think it does, just because I think you open opportunities or possibilities by saying, I try. And I think what happens for job seekers, especially, is they get comfortable with what they're comfortable with, right? They do what they're comfortable with. And we know that in a job search, it is really needs to be multifaceted. Applying online is one part of a job search, but it shouldn't be the only part of your job search.
Right.
So sometimes that means doing other things that maybe you haven't experienced before, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. That's why I try is helpful, because it gives you the opportunity to explore, to have new experiences, to see how it works. And then, based on how that worked, you can either continue, try to figure out how to do better, or potentially stop doing it if it really is not something that is helpful for you. But you won't know until you try.
And it takes a while to develop mastery. Well, how many hours does it take? It's like tens of thousands of hours to develop mastery, but it only takes 30 days to make something a habit, right? So you might not have mastery after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but you can make that part of your habit, whatever that thing is that you are trying. And sometimes we need to form new habits, because nothing about job search is like anything you've ever had to do in your job before.
Yeah, we're not taught how to job search. Potentially, if you were in school, in high school or college, you might have had something with job search, but for most of us, it's nothing. And so we learn as we go, or we learn from others. And so when that happens, you only know what you know. And you're comfortable with. So that's why I suggest, and other coaches do, a number of things that we know based on our knowledge of the industry and feedback from clients that works.
Okay, so tell us what those things are, Shelley.
Okay. Well, first of all, I would tell everybody that what is really helpful is for you to know from the start, even before your job search, what it is that you want. So a lot of people start their job search, I need a new job. Okay, you need to define what that is for you. What is a good job for you? And what are all the aspects of it? This helps you, because then once you have a good idea, you can then networking, you can tell people what you are looking for and be specific about it. That helps your network. In your resume, you can target roles that will meet what you're looking for, and you can put the information in your resume that is helpful for the employers to see the value that you provide, because you know what that is, because you know the type of work you want to do. It helps with LinkedIn for your profile, because then you know who you want to reach out to, what type of industries, professions, who would be interested in you, and you can write compelling profiles to tell people why you would be great in those roles. Yeah. So we talked about all those sorts of things, which are all helpful then to really get you more efficiently, quicker, those roles, those opportunities that are going to be a good fit for you.
It's really foundational work. So once you have that clarity, and you've got the resume that's speaking to those skills, and you've got the LinkedIn profile, everything else you do after that point, and it doesn't matter what you do, like all the different activities that you do after that point are based off that same solid foundation. And so it does save a lot of time, and it makes it so much easier for people to help you if you can tell them sort of what it is you're looking for. Even better yet, some of the companies you might want to work for. So
yes, and I have had clients who come to me who say they want a resume, and as we're talking, I say to them, wait, we need to take a time out here. You're not ready to write your resume because you don't have clarity of what you want, and it's very challenging to write a resume that will be impactful when you yourself don't know what that is. So take the time, do that work, and then the writing of the resume will be actually fairly easy, because we will know exactly what to put in there that will get you the type of jobs that you're looking for.
So you've got, a lot of stuff going. You've got a good pulse on what's going on. So right now, what excites you most about this world of work we find ourselves in coming out of the pandemic?
Well, several things excite me. One of the things that really excites me is the emphasis now on employee wellness and employees feeling that they have more opportunities to find places where they can be feel healthy and strong and authentic. And I feel that that is a great thing, because I know some generations have really said, well, we just have to endure this. Right. Whatever the job is, we just have to endure this. And even when it was toxic work environments or just a really bad mismatch. And I think employees now are taking more ownership over their physical, mental, all the things that make up wellness. And they're demanding that employers really think about that as part of the culture of the workplace. And I think that is really exciting. I think it will make the world of work so much better for employees. We still have a long way to go, but I think we're going in the right direction.
Here's a really interesting question from Salma. Can you answer? Oh, wait, no, this wasn't the question. Hold on. We'll get to that next question. Isn't a resume a summary of your work experience? You hear that a lot, right? All I need to do is plug in my work experience. Ta-da, I've got my resume. It's more than that, isn't it?
Yeah. So what I see a lot of people do is they take a job description that they have, and they essentially cut and paste that and say, that's my resume. And the thing about that is it tells the reader what you were supposed to be doing, but the reader has no idea if you did that and how you did that. And so that's really what gets the recruiter, the hiring manager really excited, is to say, oh, I can see what this person has accomplished, and I can see how they could do similar type of things, similar accomplishments where I am now, and I need this. And therefore, I need to talk to this person. So that's where I think people make mistakes with their resume. And it's something I commonly see. But if you think differently about your resume and think of it as more of an accomplishment document than just a listing of your job duties, you will get more interest in you as a candidate.
Really great point. We've got about 1 minute, Shelley. Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What do you have going on that people should know about? Are you doing any lives? Do you have anything that you are promoting that you can let us know about?
Well, I actually am going to do a whole rebrand. So that's a big project I'm working on that will happen later this spring. So everybody stay tuned for that. As Hannah said, I do videos usually about once a week. So you can find those on LinkedIn, and they're on YouTube. And I do a blog post. I do that every 2 weeks. That is on my website. I have a blog there about all sorts of information to help job seekers. So I invite anyone to look there. I have, 2-3 years of articles in there on all sorts of topics. So there's always something for everybody there.
Awesome. It's ShelleyPiedmont.com, right?
Correct.
I'll make sure to put that in the comments too. Thank you for being a guest. Next week, it's not Niatu. Why does this keep coming up? Next week is, I'm doing next Conversation with Colleagues is with Sabrina Woods, and she's going to talk about the psychology of reducing stress. So I'm going to be posting that up here the next couple of hours on LinkedIn. It's in my events, so you can actually register to get a notification. Shelley, thank you so much. It was great talking with you today, and thank you for letting me feature that post and the mindset of I can't to I'm going to try.
Well, thank you, Hannah. It was my pleasure. I really enjoyed talking about this important subject.
Great. Go follow Shelley Piedmont on LinkedIn. Go to our website, shelleypiedmont.com, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much, Shelley.